Hey, here's a quiz question. What do a shirtless Charlton Heston and General Lew Wallace have in common?
Welcome to the Visitor Center of Monocacy National Battlefield. We got some really great artifacts here, including the frock coat of General Lew Wallace, the general who saved Washington here at the battle that saved Washington. Now, Lew Wallace was not a West Point graduate, and that caused some friction, some resentment among regular Army officers. As a matter of fact, here's an interesting thing about Lew Wallace. He was, in 1862, the youngest major general in the Army. And some regular officers resented that because he was not a West Pointer. Well, he had been doing very well in the war. Then came April of 1862 and the Battle of Shiloh. Now, the first day of Shiloh was a near disaster for U.S. Grant. He didn't fight that battle well on the first day, and his army was almost defeated. Now, many historians, and I am among them, believe that after that fiasco, U.S. Grant started looking around for a scapegoat, and his eyes landed on Lew Wallace. And Lew Wallace received much of the blame for that near disastrous first day at Shiloh. And this really hurts his career. He's sent home to await further orders. He's in limbo. Finally, after about a year, and the whole time he's protesting his innocence. He's trying to regain his good name, his reputation. Well, finally, after about a year, the Army gives him what was called the Middle Department. It was from Baltimore, Maryland to Monocacy Junction, Frederick, Maryland. Well, son of a gun. Then comes summer of 1864, the last Confederate offensive. Here comes Confederate General Jubal Early, barreling up the Shenandoah Valley, crossing the mountains, and making a beeline for Washington, D.C. Now, here's the thing to know about this situation. Washington, D.C. during the Civil War was the most heavily fortified city in the world. But Ulysses S. Grant is down at Petersburg, below Richmond, the siege of Petersburg. He has pulled almost all of the troops out of Washington, D.C. to reinforce his lines at Petersburg. Washington, D.C. is nearly defenseless. And here comes Jubal Early. Lew Wallace, good old Lew Wallace, he gets wind of the fact that Jubal Early is heading for Washington, D.C., and Lew Wallace, without orders, without support, on his own initiative, leaves Baltimore, heads towards Frederick. He starts gathering up as many troops as he can. He's going to make a stand at Monocacy Junction. It's an 8-hour battle. He manages to hold back the forces of Jubal Early. And remember, Lew Wallace is outnumbered almost 3-1. Despite those odds, Lew Wallace manages to buy time, buy a day, so that by the time the now delayed Jubal Early gets to Washington, D.C., Union reinforcements have arrived, and the city is safe, and Jubal Early retreats back into the Shenandoah Valley.
Okay, remember our quiz question? What do Charlton Heston and Union General Lew Wallace have in common? Lew Wallace wrote Ben-Hur. Hey, now to learn more about the role of Lew Wallace here at the Battle of Monocacy, the battle that saved Washington, come out to Monocacy National Battlefield. We're just below Frederick, Maryland, and we're looking forward to your visit.